Hello, friends. This is V for You Radio. My name is Anupam. I'm the founder, CEO of V for You Radio and TV. And as we are celebrating a great Merry Christmas here in the city of Edmonton, we also want to bring the warmth from a great group of friends. Of course, this group of friends have been together or supporting, we've been supporting each other and talking about the Theatre Prospero, the Thousand Faces festivals, and all that. I've got the artistic director, Mark Henderson, and Tololwa, who's a playwright. We're going to talk about some cultural diplomacy. In fact, A Thousand Faces and Theatre Prospero. Gentlemen, how I call you guys as cultural diplomats in Edmonton. And one thing I love about the Thousand Faces and Theatre is basically they not only promote. They are the connectors of East and West. They always try to bring some East into their West concepts, be it the dance wise, be it the concept wise. Mark, it's always a pleasure to see you.
Oh, likewise, Anu. Always wonderful to get your insights and to hear about your passion for all of the things that are happening in this wonderful multicultural city that we live in, and all of your support of so many different cultural groups. It's
One thing I love about your group, as an artistic director, is I really enjoy your summer outdoor festivals, which kind of just happens in the west side of the city here. I've participated in almost every for the last 3 years, and also we know during this time of the weather, like the weather when it turns so cold. However, you bring the warmth inside the theaters. And today we are going to talk about something you're bringing tomorrow at Varscona Theatre. Why don't we start with that and also introduce our lovely friend Tololwa, who's the playwright of that play. So, Mark, all yours to maybe build up that so that we can start the conversation.
all right. Okay, so I'll set the stage a little bit here. There's a couple of things. Tolol was actually the playwright of a wonderful play we did, which is kind of more south of Africa meets the rest of the world than east meets west. It's called Anthem of Life, Part One, and that's something that we performed with all kinds of African and Indian and other cultural influences. There's dance, there's music, there's puppetry, there's Odissi dance, there's African dance, there's music by Srijan Chatterjee and Richard Cesar Wugi, huge god masks by Randall Fraser. So that is something that we did in June 2024, and we've made it a wonderful. And Tololwa was the playwright, and we've made a wonderful 1 hour video of that's suitable for children, suitable for the whole family, and it's abridged with Tololwa giving some narration, and it's kind of Jim Henson world adjacent in a way. It's very, very interesting cosmological mythology with all sorts of gods. Do you want to talk a little about the story, Tololwa?
Yeah, the story is about the gods of the about the gods of the Zulu, and about Zulu mythology as featured in the work of Manzisi Kunene, who was a very distinguished poet. He's passed away now. Very distinguished poet in South Africa. He was poet laureate, and he was in exile from South Africa for 32 years. Because he was associated with ANC, the anti-apartheid struggle. And he came back to South Africa in 93, just before the elections in 94, the democratic elections in South Africa. And he wrote this wonderful mammoth work, which is Anthem of the Decades, which is one large poem, 300 pages long, over in 12,000 lines, 12,000 lines of poetry. And he wrote that. And it's very philosophical, very deep, very profound. So what I did was I adapted part of it, part one of the book, into part one, Anthem of Life, the play. And that's what I did. And we started working on it from, actually, I looked back, I went to check my records, and we started working on it in the around 2015, or even before 2015, in different various ways, until it kind of culminated into a full production in June of last year. And it was quite an honor for me to kind of adapt work, and I still consider it to be the work of Mazisi Kunene, and I'm just kind of like a bit of a midwife, bringing the that work to the world. Starting with Canada, part of it in a language that is accessible, because the poetry itself by Masisi Kunene is very deep, very profound, and I don't know how many people would have the stamina to go through the poetry. So I thought that making it into drama that is accessible to everybody would be the way to bring it to the world.
And it's very playful the way that you've done it. It's the ancestors come to visit a young boy who loves to write stories and poems from this ancient epic of the creation of the world. When the gods create the world, they create humanity, and then they say, "Ooh, was that a good idea?"
Yeah.
And then they have a big struggle about it. But they come to him riding on a sacred snake, and they say, "You're going to tell the story with us." He's like, "Me? I've only ever heard it. How could I tell the story?" They said, "You're going to do it with our help." And they're all kind of acting it out. These spirits from the ancestor world are acting out the story with him and dancing it and singing it. And these huge god masks come in. It's very spectacular, very lively, very fun. And there are these wild dogs of heaven that the destroyer goddess gives birth to after she drinks the charm of life. Speaking of midwife. And they terrorize mankind, but then we tame them, and then the gods are so impressed they decide to grant us immortality.
Yeah.
And then later they decide to grant us death because we petition them for it, because the destroyer goddess gets them to do it. But anyways, I digress a little bit. It's very fun. It's very lively. Children who saw it were like laughing and clapping and giggling. PhD student from Kenya was going all through it. It's highly accessible, and so that is, I believe, if I'm not wrong, Anu, you're going to live stream that, or you're going to stream that on V4U Radio.
Yes.
Yes.
So basically, you shared the link, Mark and Tololua, that broadcast. I wanted to bring you live first,
Okay.
and then
Perfect. So
so that the listeners, the viewers know, uh, will have a little bit of a background why and who is showing, and the little bit of background. However, I also wanted to understand more about tomorrow's as Varscona theater here, Mark, from you.
absolutely.
What are we doing there? What times, and what can people expect, and all that? If at all, maybe you can talk a little bit about that part as well.
Sure. All right. Well, tomorrow at the Varscona Theater, and the 28th as well, the next day as well, we have a very, very special holiday treat called Enchanted Antlers. This is an inclusive festive play where what usually happens is elk, moose, and pronghorn gather in the wallow in the woods, sort of in winter, like you can see behind me, right?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. And they gather together for what's called All Ungulates Eve. And that is the most important hooved holiday, where ungulates, creatures with hooves, they gather together to share warmth, to share stories, to stot and hoot under the stars, to contemplate the lights in the sky, the northern lights in silence, and then to look ahead through the trees. But and we've done 6 versions of this play, so we've got it kind of honed. This one, it's where Pronghorn comes to All Ungulates Eve and meets Elk there, but Pronghorn has lost their memory, so Elk has to help Pronghorn, and the audience helps Pronghorn remember things, and it's through doing All Ungulates Eve that more and more things come back to Pronghorn. And as they do it, they celebrate All Ungulates Eve together. And there's songs, and there's audience participation. It's a very inclusive, very warm, very funny, fairly silly, whimsical little 45-minute show at the Varscona Theater at 11 and 2:30 tomorrow and the next day. That's the 27th and 28th of December. And it's sponsored by the Varscona Theatre, the Old Strathcona Farmers Market, and Kind Ice Cream, who are providing free ice cream.
Wow, wow. So coming
And
coming back coming back to you, Tololo, as a
Yeah.
playwright, when you were writing this whole the anthems of life, what audience did you have in mind when you did that? I know there's a reference on, but any type of audience you think you enjoy the most? Um,
Wa- Wow. I actually I didn't have an audience in mind. Sometimes when somebody writes, I kind of write for myself and hope that there will be like-minded people who would kind of enjoy the things that I put into a play or into a story when I'm writing a story. And so I just kind of work on the play and converse with the characters, negotiate with the characters, and I don't think at any point I really thought of an audience. Of course, I kind of wanted to project things, so to have dialogue there and so on and so forth. And I really hoped that the play would kind of take care of itself. Like if I pay attention to the characters, I pay attention to what they say and what they do, that will come through to the audience. That's yeah. And I was hoping that the play would be for everybody, young and old, as well. And but towards the end, I towards the end of the play becomes really playful and fun, with the animal characters. And so when I was writing, I say I think kids are really going to enjoy this. But but when the production came, even the adults enjoyed it. And another thing, I also wanted the performers to enjoy it because I wanted to inspire the performers, because that's
right.
you do theater through the performers,
So as
and you have to inspire them. If you don't inspire them, then the chances of them inspiring the audience are pretty low.
As a playwright, you are creating characters, you're writing stories, and then you see it live. I remember during the summer when you had it played live at CISC, which is the Council of Indian Societies of
Yeah.
Edmonton here. I was there.
Yes.
Fortunately, we had one actor, is one or two actors live sitting and watching, and kind of when you see somebody on the screen and then somebody sitting, the same person sitting beside you, the feeling is
Yeah.
different. But
Yes.
the question,
Uh-huh.
which character, like when you were writing and you saw which which character kind of just amazed you the most, because I'm sure they're all your babies, so you are creating those and you're enjoying those, but then you see it on in action. Anything special stood out when on paper versus on the screen?
Yes. Yes. I like when I was writing it, and then Mark had brought the idea of having the Indian element in the play, and that really took a life, like kind of the life developed from when we started working on it in 1915, 1916, 1917, kind of working. And the more we did it, the more Anakshi, the character that Anakshi is playing, kind of came to life. So that character kind of surprised me, the way the character came to life through Enakshi, who is a dancer, but for the purposes of the play, she had to become an actor. And that really pleasantly surprised me, the way she kind of embraced the role of being an actor when she has always been a dancer.
Yes. Uh,
Yes.
Coming to you, Mark,
mm,
as cultural diplomats, I know that the Theatre Prospero is constantly trying to come up with new ideas, and especially the dance elements that you bring into these types of things. Um, what are some of the things which you really are you working on, and just like tomorrow, like it takes a lot of effort as an artistic director to kind of just approve something. Yeah, this is something which I want to really show. What is the process looks like? How does it, the story comes to you, say, yeah, this is something which I want to like, work on this in coming year 2026 or 27 kind of thing. So explain to the, if I could understand, What is the process at Theatre Prospero or Thousand Faces when a concept comes to you? How do you put it into shape in life?
Well, it depends um, on the project, but there are some fairly constants that I can think of over the years, and one is when a when I see another artist who I respect immensely, and I see and hear their passion for something, and then they bring me into their world of their understanding of a story, or in this case, an epic poem, which is stories and a whole mythology. Um, then that usually that makes me go, there's something there, there's something that wants to be developed, there's something that wants to go further, there's something that deserves to be known, deserves to be seen. um, I mean, where this came from was where Anthem of Life came from was um, Talolwa and I were at the end of a Thousand Faces festival where he'd done his bit and I'd done my bit, and we were enjoying watching kids hoop dancing. um, we were swapping recommendations on what to read, and he suggested Anthem of the Decades to me, and I don't know what I suggested to him, but I went home and I read it, and I just about fell off of my chair at 5 o'clock in the morning, just with because every other page there was a one-liner that was worthy of Shakespeare. I was I was certain that Shakespeare was the greatest English poet, or greatest poet writing in the English language, until 2015 when I read this. And so I knew that we had to do something with it, and I knew that Talolwa was the person to do it because he was the one who brought it to me, and he was the one with the passion for it. So usually what it starts with is somebody's passion for a story and or an art form, or a way of looking at it. Sometimes it's mine, sometimes I just make something up. um, but very often it's people that I do something with, that we do something together and it works beautifully, and we want to put together something. Like, for example, Enakshi and I are slowly working on an ODC Hamlet called Rajkumari Hamlet, and that came out of her passion, her discoveries of acting, as not necessarily being so separate from dance. What she brought to the dance, what she brought to the dance that she brought to Anthem of Life, uh, as well as the acting she had to do in it, she started to understand that once upon a time, those were all considered the same thing, which was essentially storytelling. It's just using different parts of you at different times, and the uh, the success that we had with bringing Odyssey dance into Anthem of Life, that has made her want to go further into theater, right? Further into marrying those two forms. Um, Now doing so in a place where it's where there's really sort of just two cultural influences, the Shakespeare and the Odyssey. Whereas in Anthem of the Decades, or Anthem of Life rather, we have so many, because we have performers from all over Africa, and from India and from Canada, bringing all their different cultural sensibilities, um, all the different cosmologies that they were born into. And there was an awful lot of similarity, the Indian artists found, between the cosmology and Anthem of the Decades and Anthem of Life, as there is in Hindu mythology. Sort of some of the vastness of the creators, some of the destroyer goddess was very, very strong figure in both. Um, so I know that's a long-winded way to say. Um, the process is that you know we follow people's passion and interest, really. That's it.
No, I totally, I can see the passion. Of course, the passion is something. Arts and culture. See, um, every city, as it's growing, so does it grows. The the audience likes this piece because I think art and culture connects the communities together in a very nice way, and of course. and that is the reason why we got hooked on to both Theatre Prospero and Thousand Faces, just because we know the content you bring on is very heartwarming content, and in different forms, which touches the not only hearts of many people but also the minds. It was thoughtfully created, and so. Anyways, coming tomorrow's again, the Varscona, of course, this theater where you are doing the chanted the antlers, and also the free ice creams. Is there any tickets which people have to buy?
Oh, well, tickets are pay what you can.
Okay,
So people can go to the Varscona Theater's website.
right.
Just go Varscona Theater Edmonton, Varscona. You can get on there, and it's pay what you can, or you can come to the door. That's pay what you can there as well. Yeah.
Perfect. So, sorry, go ahead. I thought.
No, that's it. That was all that I wanted to say about tickets. Oh, there was
No.
one more thing. We are after the show, the live show. We're also doing a screening on the big screen of the first half of Anthem of Life tomorrow and the next day.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So if you want to save watching some of it for then, you can, or if you want to see some of it again after you watch it here on V4U Radio, then you can do that as well.
Yeah, so I saved it for the right moment, I guess. Do not want to steal away the thunder. I want to do it after creating some curiosity by you guys, and then we will play it tomorrow. I mean, we will certainly announce it soon enough. And but again, I wanted to thank both of you gentlemen to have given us this time coming live on V4U Radio. We are celebrating such a beautiful times here in the city, the White Christmas, with so much of warmth with these types of events, which is happening tomorrow. Thank you, Theatre Prospero, for thinking about bringing such talents. Thank you, Tololwa, for thinking about us, writing the such playwrights content. And thank you, Mark, for always thinking of us. Any last minute words before I end this stream?
Well,
Tololwa.
thank you for having us on, and it was a pleasure to meet with you virtually. I know we met in person in the summer, so it's good to meet with you again.
And thanks, Anu, as always. Thanks. Just keep doing what you're doing. We love you guys, and we look forward to this stream going out, and more people embracing Masisi, what Masisi Kunene called his gift to the world.
Yes.
I will send the link of this live immediately after the call to Lulua. Mark will share with you, so that if you want, you can share with your family, friends, and all who are really interested in such creations. But for now, it's signing off from V4U Radio and TV, and enjoy the upcoming Varscona Theatre's excitement tomorrow at 11 and 2:30, brought to you by Theatre Prospero. Thank you, guys.
And on Sunday.
Yes.
And on Sundays,
And on Sundays. Take care. Bye, guys. Enjoy.
Okay.
Stay warm. Bye-bye.